Hi friends, thank you so much for being here. It's that time of year again. The Sephora sale starts today for Rouge members, and I am trying not to be repetitive with my recommendations. So if there are products that you know that I love that are not in this video, it's not because I don't love them. It's just because I'm trying to offer some different options. If you want all the tea on skincare, perfume, makeup, of course, even hair care recommendations for the Sephora sale, then I want to start off with my perfume recommendations. This is my favorite perfume of all time. It is Commodity Milk Plus Bold. It has to be the bold version. I also have the Big Daddy size here. This is just my everyday staple perfume. It's great any time of year, but specifically for fall and winter. It is a smoky, sweet scent. It is slightly gourmand, but a very complex, niche kind of gourmand. So if you love vanilla, if you love cocoa, if you love caramel or woodsy, fiery, smoky kind of scents, you would love this perfume. Commodity scents are just super, super unique. So if you're wanting to branch out of like the warm vanilla Bath and Body Works kind of realm, definitely check this one out. And then my other perfume recommendation is Fleur's Missing Person. This is just the travel size, but as you can see, I'm quickly running through this travel size, definitely thinking of picking up the full size at some point. This is a perfect perfume to pair with other perfumes. So I love pairing it with the Commodity Milk Plus Bold. I also love pairing it with Billie Eilish number 1 if you have that fragrance. Also, any kind of really warm, sweet gourmand scent. I'm thinking of like Cherryosa 71 from Sol de Janeiro. It literally smells like skin, like you're hugging someone that just took a shower. It does have a very light, like sweet, musky scent in the base. But if you want something that's not too forward, not too punchy, something that just feels very natural, I would say, definitely check out Missing Person. I just have one skincare recommendation, and it is the Paula's Choice 2% BHA liquid exfoliant. I'm sure many of you already are familiar with this product, but just in case, if you've never tried this product and you suffer from getting like really tiny little bumps, like in this area around the eyes, around the cheeks, and the nose, this is a perfect daily exfoliant to use. I do have dry, flaky skin, and this exfoliant never makes my skin feel cracked. It's very thin. It sinks in almost immediately. It does leave kind of like a stickiness behind on your fingers if you're wondering kind of like what the texture is. I have repurchased many of these. So if you're suffering from texture specifically, highly recommend. I talked about this hair care product in a recent video, and this is the best curl cream I have ever used. I like this even more than the Briogeo curl cream that I also have raved about, but this Pattern Curl Gel. Pattern just really is that girl, I'm finding out. It is a typical just like thick white kind of gel cream, super lightweight, does not leave your hair crunchy whatsoever. For me personally, I only put like a little dollop in my palm, and that's enough for my entire head of hair. I do have wavy hair, but if you have coily or really ringlety kind of hair, you can definitely get away with using more of this, but I just find this is so effective. Even when I'm sleeping on my hair, it's helping to maintain the waves over the course of several days. So cannot recommend this curl cream enough. But let's get into what you probably came here for, the makeup recommendations. I have two foundations to share with you. I have already raved and spoke about and used these foundations several times on my channel. Starting off with the Fenty Beauty Soft Lit Foundation. I will leave a link right here to a wear test I did with this foundation. I am in the shade 295, which is a little bit deep for me right now, but if you want a super full coverage, long wearing, smoothing, no cracks, does not make your skin look dry, does not emphasize lines in the face, gives you a good 12 hours of wear, this is going to be your very best friend. You can sheer it out, however, the purpose in my collection with this foundation is when I want to go super full coverage glam, That's what I use this for. Even though I do have dry skin, this barely settles and cracks in my smile lines, which this is my number one problem area when it comes to base products. But if you do prep with like a smoothing primer, you will not have any issue. This just wears incredibly well. And then for today, I did go in with the Beautyblender Bounce Skin Tint. I don't know what's going on with this on Sephora's website, but it is half off right now and only the deeper shades are available, like tan to deep. So unfortunately, my shade medium 3 is unavailable. But if you are tan to deep and you want something like this, but even more thin and serum-y, like lighter feeling on the face, definitely go for the Beautyblender Bounce Skin Tint. I did go in with this today, however, it is slightly too light, so I did have to color correct with a bronzing drop, just to let you know. But honestly, I do prefer this skin tint over the Fenty Beauty one. Now, this does say skin tint, but this is basically a full coverage foundation. Incredibly thin, super smoothing, and barely cracks in my problem areas of the smile lines. So especially for dry skin or textured problematic skin, I would definitely go for this option. There's only one concealer that I would recommend from Sephora wholeheartedly, and it has to be my beloved Tower 28 Serum Concealer. I am wearing it today. It is the concealer I wear in every single one of my videos. The only concealer I ever need to wear, honestly. This is so full coverage, so incredibly thin, but it does not move around underneath the eyes. It barely creases. I would say it's slightly self-setting, not fully. I just think overall for many skin types, like this could work. It is just so easy to use. I would say I do prefer underneath the eyes as opposed to like a spot concealer, but if you want to use this as a foundation, this is definitely an amazing concealer to go for. Moving on to powder, I have to recommend the Kosas Cloud Set. I've had this only for a couple months in my collection, and she looks like this. I am definitely going to repurchase when the sale starts because this is the only pressed powder I can safely use underneath my eyes that does not make my under eyes look heavy, does not make them look cakey, does not make them crease, and all over the face, it just gives you the most softened, polished, like creamy, soft skin finish ever. It is amazing for dry skin. So if you're a dry skin girly and you find that pressed powders or powders in general just make your face look even drier and emphasizes things that you didn't even know were there, you have to check out this powder. It is a godsend for dry skin. Honestly, even oily skin as a finishing powder, fantastic. Unfortunately, you guys, this Hourglass translucent veil powder is the best loose powder I've ever tried. I know it is so expensive. This is the travel size. I believe I've had this probably like a good 6 months, and I do still have like a little bit left. I have to repurchase soon, but if you're on a budget, just go ahead and get the travel size. I've been able to make this last quite a long time. This is the powder I'm wearing underneath my eyes. It is the most soft, loose setting powder I've ever touched. It is amazing for dry skin, and it really does set without making your skin feel or look dry. It does not suck up all of the moisture. It melts in beautifully with literally anything you put it on top of it. You can bake. I like to bake like right underneath my cheek products with this one. It is just good all around. Like if you just need a setting powder that kind of will do everything in one, this one is absolutely worth the money. I only have one bronzer / contour recommendation, and it is the Say Dew Bronze. Ever since I picked up this product, it has become a favorite, and I use it constantly. Specifically, once we get into like spring, summer, this is amazing. It is the bronzer that I'm wearing today. This is definitely geared more towards the girlies that love a dewy finish because this can be a con. It just depends on your preference and your skin type, but even when you do set this down, there is going to be some kind of sheen reflecting back. So if you do not like that, you probably won't like this, but even though it is dewy and you can sheer it out, it never looks patchy. There's never like holes of coverage even when you sheer this out. I find with a lot of cheek products that are really sheer, like once you really start to blend it out, it'll just have like little patches where there's no color. This is not like that at all. It blends like a dream. You can leave it sitting on the face for like a minute and it's not going to stick to a spot or start to dry down. It is just so easy and foolproof. And especially for the summer, I just think this is a bronzer must-have. Next is highlighter. I only have one highlighter, and you guys, if you want the best powder highlight, the most demure, polished, not glittery, not super like reflective, just something soft but effective, you have to get the Fenty Beauty Demi Glow powder highlights while they're still here. They are 50% off right now, so they're only $20 on Sephora's website, and most of the shades are still available. However, I do have a feeling that they're going to sell out really, really fast for the sale. So if you find a color that you like, which there are so many shades in this line for literally everyone, definitely pick this up. I have the shade 0322 Much, which is a pinky rose gold. Like if I told you that I used a cream highlight, you would probably believe me. It is so soft and so refined of a product. You can't tell where it begins or ends. It is just all around so beautiful. I really, really hope Fenty Beauty makes this a permanent item. Like they need to make this a permanent item in their line. Otherwise, that would be so dumb. Like this is just such a good formula. It wouldn't be an Hourglass Elise video if I wasn't recommending you multiple blushes in a Sephora recommendations video. So starting off with the blush combo I have on today, my favorite blush of all time and one of my favorite formulas of all time has to be the Huda Beauty blush filters. I have the shade Coco Loco. I'm absolutely picking up the little blush duo set that they have at Sephora. Trust and believe I will be wearing Black Cherry so much. It is pigmented, but not as pigmented as the Rare Beauty. Definitely way easier, in my opinion, than the Rare Beauty in terms of ease of use and application. It does have like a slight sheen, and you can see just tiny little flecks of glitter, but once you apply it and blend it out, you don't see the glitter on your face. And it is so incredibly long wearing. Honestly, kind of feels like waterproof. Like I've sweat a lot in this and it has just been completely budge proof. I love the shades in this line. There's just truly like nothing bad I can say about this blush. It never pills or skips. It never acts funny when I blend it on top of other products. It is just all around an amazing blush. And I have to once again remind you that the Say Dew blushes are some of the best liquid blushes, like specifically dewy liquid blushes I've ever tried. I do have a video where I am swatching all of these shades, but I did add a little bit of baby, so this is like the really viral baby pink. I don't like to wear this on its own, like on my skin tone, but paired on top of other blushes, it adds like a really cute pinky brightness, and it just gives you an amazing dewiness, but it does not break up anything that you're wearing underneath, and it doesn't break down over time. For a gel liquid, it is surprisingly long wearing. Even if you have oily skin, I honestly think that you would still like these if you like a dewy finish. And last recommendation for blush is the Haus Labs Color Fuse Glassy Blush Balm. I have one shade in Glassy Acai. If you like the sound of the Say blushes, something really juicy and dewy, but you want it in a stick formulation, this is a great option. This is that shade Glassy Acai. I definitely recommend this if you are tan to deep, because this will actually show up on you and not look ashy. If you know, you know. I'm not really an eyebrow product kind of girly. I literally am only wearing an eyebrow gel. Brow gel is just like really where it's at for me because it's like a one and done kind of product. So I have two eyebrow gel recommendations. Of course, I have to shout out my Rare Beauty Laminating and Lifting Flexible Hold Brow Gel. This is empty, so one of these normally lasts me like 4 to 5 months. This is my second one, and I am repurchasing when the sale starts because this is the best still for laying your hairs completely flat. This is the most magical laminating brow gel. I like this way more than like the Kosas Clear Air Brow or the Patrick Ta laminating brow gel because it is not flaky ever. It does not make your eyebrows feel hard and crunchy, and it does not leave a white cast. Like, it doesn't crumble. Like, it's truly translucent, and especially if you have like thicker, coarser hairs that like to pop off your face like me, you need to try this. If you're like me and you also want a one and done eyebrow product, but you want a tint, I highly, highly recommend the Tinted Kosas Air Brow. That is my favorite one and done. Like, if I want a little bit of color, a little bit of volume, some texture, and hold all in one. I've sweat with that one on, I've swam with that one on, and it is pretty budge proof, not 100%, but I think all around, if you want like an easy one and done product, definitely go for Kosas Air Brow. I have one eyeliner recommendation, and this is marketed for the eyes, lips, and cheeks. I did originally buy this to wear as a lip liner, but I don't 100% love it as a lip liner. But I have been using this Tower 28 one liner in the shade Draw Me. So this is their dark chocolate brown as an eyeliner, and I way, way prefer these one liners as eyeliners. On the lips, they don't really set, so I find they're just not the longest wearing, but I do like to use them for creating a wing, and then I'll just go over top with a similar toned eyeshadow to set it, or a translucent setting powder. They are super, super creamy. They do not tug at all. I definitely think they're better on the lid as opposed to in the waterline. But if you have these, or if you've tried these and you haven't loved them for the lips, try them on the eyes. It would not be a recommendations video if I wasn't recommending you something from Natasha Denona. I have gotten so much use out of this mini eye sculpt palette. This is what I used today, and I used it to set that eyeliner and also just to put a little bit of color in the crease. This just has everything like I ever could need. It has a perfect brightening shade for all over the lid. It has a black for eyeliner. I will say this black is more of like a smudgy, transparent kind of black. It's not like a full pigment, smoky eye kind of black, if that makes sense. But great for smudging and just for like little shadow wings. Really good for that. And then you have a couple of like transition / deepening shades. I have found like recently in the past couple of years, her mini palettes do have a lot of like repetitive shades that end up looking the same, at least on my skin tone. So if you're medium or deeper, honestly, just go for her mini palettes. I just think those are way better value right now. I don't know what's really going on with like her curation of colors, but these monochromatic palettes, like that she's been coming out with, just haven't really been hitting for me personally. So I definitely think you should check out the mini eye sculpt and her other minis. You guys, I finally hopped on the bandwagon and tried the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Setting Spray. And unfortunately, everyone was right, and this is a fantastic setting spray. It does kind of remind me of like Urban Decay All Nighter kind of vibes, like Milk Makeup, Pore Eclipse, matte setting spray kind of vibes. It doesn't change the finish of your makeup. I am wearing it today, like not that you can tell, but the number one thing I can say about this setting spray is that it truly makes your makeup last longer. I can't really speak to if it melts the powders into your face. I don't really see like much of a difference if I'm being 100% honest. But when she says party all night, stay all day, Miss Charlotte was not lying. And the fragrance is kind of like a spa, like slightly herbally, just very like a spa scent. And we've made it to the last category of lips. I've never recommended a sharpener, I don't think, before, but I finally tried this Glossier lip liner sharpener. Guys, this really is the best lip liner sharpener, like pencil sharpener ever. Like, it just makes your pencils so sharp. It never catches like some of like the cheaper ones, like the Ulta Beauty collection or like the e.l.f. ones. Like the pencil will get stuck as you're turning it, and then it'll just make like the freaking component all fucked up. I'm gonna go ahead and take my one liner because it is a little bit dull, and I'm just gonna show you guys like how freaking legit this pencil sharpener is. And it's just like, okay. And I just love like how easy it is to dispose, and like I don't know what it is, but I just find that like product doesn't really like cling to the actual blades themselves. Also, side note, the only lip pencils that don't fit in this component are the Fenty Beauty Traced Out lip pencils. Unfortunately, those ones are just like slightly too big to fit into this one. Continuing on with Glossier, I love this freaking little lip line. Their lip pencil, I have the shade Buff. It is what I'm wearing today. These are basically the NYX Line Loud pencils, but I really do love the colors in the Glossier ones way more than the NYX ones. Just like the NYX ones, like when you apply it, it does have like a creamy whipped kind of texture, but they do set down. Not as slippy as the Fenty Beauty ones or like the Rare Beauty ones, but not as stiff as like some other lip pencils. It's just like perfectly in the middle of having enough grip to the lips, but still being easy to apply. And we're gonna end this video with some Fenty Beauty recommendations. Fenty Beauty just knows what the fuck they're doing when it comes to lip product recommendations. I'm so happy that they're making their Gloss Bomb oils permanent. They came out with a bunch of different shades, and I have Coppa Cookie and Frosted Buns. This was limited edition from last year. They did make Frosted Buns permanent. A lot of lip oils do make your other products like bleed outside of your lips and transfer, and they can be kind of messy. But this one is like a perfect blend of a gloss and an oil. It's a little bit thinner than their Gloss Bombs luminizers, but not really thin and slippy that like the lip oils that just disappear. Like they do have a good substance to them. Very, very glittery and shimmery, but you cannot feel any grittiness or texture on your lips whatsoever. And they smell like cinnamon buns. So like you really cannot go wrong with these. And I never thought that I would get so much use out of this Gloss Bomb shimmer stick. I have the shade Icy Amethyst. I am wearing it on top of that Glossier lip liner today. And in low light settings, this is just absolutely stunning. If you want something that's actually hydrating, if you want that 90s like frosted, shimmery kind of lip vibe that does not dry out your lips, does not emphasize lines in your lips, does not feel gritty or anything, these are actually phenomenal. And those were all of my recommendations. This is the finished look using almost everything that we talked about today. And if you want more recommendations, get ready with me's tutorials, reviews, and other makeup teas, then like, comment, subscribe. I'm sending you guys so much love and light. And I will see you in the next one.